Hello there. Welcome to Driven It. Oh my God, I'm getting old. Welcome to Driven It. Tinker time. No, not Driven It, getting old. I'm under the Douglas special. 2 reasons. We had a bit of an episode when I went out driving, and I'll tell you all about it after this. I say, right, now, I'm doing something I should have done before I went to Castle Combe on the racetrack, I know. Drum brakes around, not for long. Yeah, drums on Beetles, they're all right if you pootle around like Miss Daisy. However, when you don't pootle around like Miss Daisy, they're not particularly good. They're not overworked, there's no weight over the front of these. So actually, the drum setup is reasonably all right. It's just that it needs constant adjusting, particularly if you're enthusiastic. However, the other thing that happened was I was driving down this road, west, down this dual carriageway, just playing around, just on my chores. Rev counter, the engine was fine, but the rev counter was bouncing all over the place. And I went, oh, that's buggered. Cheap thing off eBay, I need to experience and buy a better one. However, going, was that west, east, the speedo, nothing. Speedo cable broke. I've got a new one. And you know, I thought, if I'm going to replace the speedo cable, admittedly, replacing the speedo cable takes 10, 15 minutes on these. Piece of piss. Beautiful. However, I thought, while I've got the front and a wheel off, I'm going to take both wheels off because Baba drums, hello, nice shiny discs. VW Cool Air in Kent, I managed to get these on a special deal. And I just went, do you know what? I'll have those. They worked out about 100 quid less than normal. There was a discount thing going on, and I went, "Kin hell, I'm having that." Because it's one of those things I was like, yeah, we'll do. Good. And now I am. Now, I was having a look, because do I know what I'm doing? I haven't got a clue. I really don't. Anyway, and I've run the fuel tank down, because I thought we might have to take the fuel tank out. And then I'm having a look going, I won't need to take the fuel tank out. And now I'm looked and I've gone, I will need to take the fuel tank out. And the reason why you have to take the fuel tank out is because you've got to replace the master cylinder. The master cylinder you can replace in situ. However, here's a 65. 65 bugs are probably the fucking worst, because I've had to take half of this apart before I actually then went to camera, in case it all got wrong. And I didn't want to disconnect everything in case I got the wrong bits. 65s have got a different front axle, because I don't think the 65 should have a ball joint. There's sort of a 65 as a crossover. 65 and I think 67 are probably the 2 worst years of a bug. 65 though in particular, doors very specific to a 65 as I've discovered, which is why I've just had to repair the old ones when I painted him. But yes, so he's got a ball joint front beam. Now I did find on Google, because I did a bit of a Google search because I'm a perv, and because I found an old invoice when I bought him with an address in London, and I went, oh, I wonder if I can find Douglas there. Lo and behold, there was, over a couple of years, several pictures of him in various states. And there's one with him up on axle stands quite high, no front beam. And I thought, oh, maybe that's when he had his beam changed, because I'm quite sure he shouldn't have a ball joint beam. He should be kingpin at 65. It was sort of a whole crossover of year of all sorts of bizarreness of Volkswagen. But anyway, so I had to make sure, because there's 2 different types of kit for the discs. And there's one that does, I think, with the single circuit discs for pre-66 or 65. But with this one, it's a bit different, because it's this bracket here for the caliper. It's all very different. So I needed to make sure that this was the right one. Otherwise, I'll get here and then go, bollocks, and have to put them all back together, or just leave him and just wait for the other kit to come. But however, this is right. But yeah, I've got to take the fuel tank out. I'm not overly happy because I don't like the smell of petrol. Believe it or not, don't like the smell of petrol. Absolutely get a bit sort of annoyed. That's the best way. Yeah, it's the best way to describe it. It just makes me annoyed. I can sort of fill up the car with fuel and you get annoyed because you're going, how much? But yeah, the smell in concentrated areas, you sort of go, oh, there we go. I know, I'm not right in the head. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to sort of go through bits of this, and because I've not got all the bits I need, I'm probably going to end up breaking this how-to thing or whatever. I don't know how it's going to work out into sort of different sections over different videos, because otherwise it'll just be one whole complete car crash and you'll sit there just going, Jesus Christ. And I can't do that to myself. I can't do that to you. I can't do it to anyone, really. No. Do you know, sure, it's the afternoon. I know it's the afternoon and somewhere is cocktail hour, but you sort of go, oh, I could do with a cocktail. I'm off work today, you see. But nope, must do this. So I've got to put some bearings in here because I've got to work out, because the instructions are, they're from Empi and they're a bit like, put it together, hope for the best. There are some warnings that they give you and you go, oh, thanks very much. And if I find the warnings, I'll go through, this is their warning. But yes, see this here, bolts on turn there, and then that goes on there, and then the caliper goes on and bolts on. But yeah, so it does seem quite simple, but the master cylinder isn't, and I've got to make brake pipes, and I've got to cut, I think I've got to cut the brake pipe that goes to the back, and then join it, and then do something. So yeah, the fuel tank's got to come out. So there we go. If you are going to do a conversion kit on a 65 onwards with ball joint beams and change the master cylinder, that's what you've got to do. If you didn't have to change the master cylinder, you wouldn't have to take the fuel tank out. It's literally just unbolt, unbolt. Piece of piss. But yeah, I am quite looking forward to this, as I say, because the discs, or not the discs, the drums on this, yeah, at Castle Combe, I was like, I really should have done that. Thanks, Guild of Motoring Riders, but yeah, I should have done that. But I didn't, because it's a bit of a pain in the arse job to do, but I like to take my time, you see. So yeah, anyway. So I'll see you in a moment when I've done some more stuff, or just go for a coffee. I'll go for a coffee first, yeah. Oh, hello, welcome to, I think, part 2. I have just done a little bit of filming for something, but I think I'll incorporate that into this because we've run into a few problems with the kit. Now, one of them is my fault, because in the advert it says, this kit comes provided with a left-hand drive master cylinder. So this here is the master cylinder, and as you can see, it's quite a bulky item, and it's got 2 brake switches. Don't need 2 brake switches, I can actually block that, but to be honest with you, it's a dual circuit system. I'll wire it up and have 2 switches. So, and in case one circuit goes, poof, fails, then it's fine, because I've still got the extra one, and people can see that I'm panicking and trying to stop, or not, as the case might be. But as you can see, it's quite tight. Douglas here is right-hand drive. As I put it all together, I just went, this looks really tight against part of the chassis. I thought, was that going to fit? No. And then I had to look online, and yeah, Beetles, as though as simple as a lawnmower, no, they are not. No, so I've had to order a new one. So hopefully I'll get that by the weekend, which is actually fine because it does mean, I've lost one here, this brake pipe, I might not actually have to replace it because the actual outlet on the master cylinder comes this side. So I might get away without making that one, but I've got to make all the others. The one that goes to the back, I've still got to modify, and the one to the other side has got to be remade. So that was my first problem. Now, the other problem I've got, and I think it's more to do with me just going, I've never seen a caliper do this. And I've had floating calipers on cars before, and I've never come across a caliper that does this. And I will bring you closer. If you can see, now, it's not under any pressure or tension, etc. This is just literally, you've put the pads in loose, everything's loose, but the caliper is tight. However, the caliper has got so much play in it, and you go, is that right? It must be right, because I've had a look at these rubber caps here, and they do sort of float around, so it's all a bit loose and tight, not tight, it's all a bit loose and wobbly. So of course, once the piston has filled up and it sort of then brings everything close, I'm sure that floatingness will stop. But that's sort of like, wow, that's really, really floaty. And the other thing, that there isn't in any of this anti-rattle shims. And I'm like, shouldn't there be anti-rattle shims? Because every time I've done brake pads, there's always been an anti-rattle shim, and there isn't. So I'm wondering if that is to, I don't know, do away without the anti-rattle shim. Who knows? We'll soon find out if this kit starts making lots and lots of noise when I start driving, and then suddenly you see another film where I'm putting the drums back. But I don't think I will. I think I will stick with the discs. No one's actually said any problems with the kit, so I think it's just me just being a bit, I don't, But yeah, so that is it so far. Right, the other thing I really, really wasn't happy with, and I've sort of never been happy, when I fitted the last master cylinder, brand new, I'll have you know, I just wasn't happy with the feed from the reservoir that went all the way down to the master cylinder, because the actual pipe work that went in, it was like, it just seems a bit shit. And lo and behold, over the course of time, it had sort of slightly lifted, and it's always my fear, and it is my fear with this, is that it would pop off, leaving you with absolute fuck all brakes. So at least with this, with the dual circuit, and I've had brakes fail, and in the past, the Citroen Visa I had, one of the calipers literally locked up and it bored the brake system, but thankfully we had back brakes. And it's quite frightening, I tell you. Barry's last braking shenanigans, no, not a problem, because he still worked. But yeah, this, when I sort of took it apart and I went, oh yeah, that, and just pulled that off really, really easy, without really doing, see, that is quite tough. On the thing, I just went, and away it comes. So, don't really like that. Don't like single circuit brakes. Peugeot's 104, the original one, I think 1974 that came out, that had single circuit. It was like, Jesus Christ. So yeah, so that is where we're up to at the moment. Oh yeah, no, there was another problem I had with this. I'm slightly going off topic. I had to take, I didn't have anything in my garage to put the bearing races in, to bash them in, without the risk of smashing them to buggery. So I had to go to my garage and pay a little bit of pounds to get them to push those in, because I didn't have a socket big enough to whack it in. So yeah, so that's the thing I wasn't able to do. If you've got a big enough socket to go over the out bearing, fine. I could do the inner one, I just couldn't do the outer one. No, I could do the outer one, I couldn't do the inner one, because I didn't have a socket big enough. See, when I ran the garage, brilliant, we had sockets of all sizes and we could always just get in. We also had a 150-ton press, so it was never a problem. But yeah, that was the problem I had as well. So now we're just waiting for my new master cylinder to come from Cool Air VW. I spoke to the lovely Vince and he went, I could have told you that you needed a master cylinder. Thanks, Vince. Love you, really. And Richard, I don't, all right? There we go. Oh, I've said it on YouTube. Oh, what am I like? So yeah, so that is it now. We're just waiting. And I'm sort of a bit gutted, really, that I can't take him out tomorrow, because I've got a car launch to go. We're going to Genesis. They're launching a GV60 EV, all electric. Nice and quiet. Posh brand. And I thought, oh, what's the best thing to take to a posh brand that's selling an EV, which is really quiet and serene? A Volkswagen Beetle with an exhaust that generally comes out at about 99.8 decibels, maybe 9 decibels. But yeah, but no, I won't be. I'll be going in the Fiat instead. But never mind, we'll get this done. So yeah, that's it for the moment. So that's it. I've got coffee on the go. Cheers. I'm going to tidy up my tools and then wait for the weekend when the bits come. And we'll do part 3.